have been best friends for 25 years. For those of you who are visual learners, since we were approximately this small, Katie and I met when she and her family moved to the neighborhood, and she joined our neighborhood family friend group. We all shared Halloween celebrations, birthday parties, summer days swimming at the pool, 4th of July parades, movie nights, sleepovers, softball games, ice skating lessons, and ballet recitals. Katie and I, though, became especially close, inseparable actually, at a really crucial time in life. Socially, school was not always easy for me, and I never really felt at home among my peers. Katie, though, has always felt like home to me. We spent our weekends having sleepovers and binge watching Little House on the Prairie. For the younger guests here tonight, Little House is a television show from the 1970s about a pioneer family from the 1870s, and it is the single greatest show ever created. If we weren't watching Little House, we were watching Extreme Makeover Home Edition. And one year we even convinced Katie's parents to bring us to see an episode being filmed, which was the highlight of our young lives. Usually on a Saturday evening, we'd be so reluctant to separate and go home for dinner that we'd do something which must have been infuriating to our mothers, and we'd get the down low from both moms in both houses on what the meal was that night, and then we decide what we preferred. Most often we went with whoever was having steak. After dinner, we might discuss one of our current obsessions. For a while, that was the Salem Witch Trials for me, and the Titanic for Katie. To be clear, Katie was not obsessed with the movie so much as the actual disaster. Often, I'd go to her house, and she'd give me yet another printed copy of a Titanic ticket. I wasn't exactly sure what to do with them at age 10, so I hope it's okay, Katie. I just kept it to show everyone at your wedding. Katie and I also really liked a project. This is one example. It's a newspaper Katie and I made in 5th grade. We named it for our neighborhood and had lots of sections in the paper, like a fun facts list, an advice column, a few quizzes, and for some reason, a short biography of Helen Keller. Not only did we spend hours upon hours creating this on Microsoft Publisher in Katie's home family office, but we also went to all the houses in our neighborhood that had a girl our age living in them, and we left them a copy of this slightly embarrassing, completely over the top, and entirely unsolicited piece of prepubescent madness. Sadly, for some reason, there was no widespread call for a second edition. Given the time and effort we put into this endeavor, this could have been a truly devastating blow to our fragile young egos. But luckily, we had each other. Our friendship really existed in this special, separate, and safe place all our own, where we both had the freedom to be completely ourselves. And I really believe that we wouldn't be who we are today without each other. Eventually, I moved out of the neighborhood and then to a different country for several years, but through every season of life, we have always chosen to keep each other. And she has continued to be my safe place. Last year, when I went through a really difficult time, she was the one person outside of my family who got me through it. There's a quote I like from a poet who says, "Souls do not have calendars or clocks, nor do they understand the notion of time or distance. They only know it feels right to be with one another." Though Katie and I can't see each other every weekend like we did as kids, when we do see each other, it's as if no time has passed at all, and I'm reminded of the girls we once were and the life-saving unconditional love we gave each other. Now, I haven't known Nick quite as long. But the first time I met him, I felt like I learned everything I needed to know. I was at Katie's house talking to her about how my brother was moving to DC for the summer and hadn't found an apartment yet. I asked if she could check with her law school friends for any apartments they had available to sublet, because I was really worried he'd be caught out with no place to live. Nick just sat there listening and then said, "Don't worry, we'll find him something." Now, this was the first time I'd ever met Nick. But in this seemingly small statement, I learned everything about him. I learned that, like Katie, he was kind and caring and always willing to listen. And I learned that even though he didn't know me really, and didn't know my brother at all, this problem seemed important to Katie and to someone she cared about. So immediately, it was important to him. The most telling part of his statement was the "we" in the "we will find him something." It showed me that he saw he and Katie as a team in all things, no matter how small. I've been on Katie's team all our lives, and I can't tell you how comforting it was to know in that moment that she found a teammate worthy of her. Katie, I love you so much. And I'm so happy for you too. So let's raise a glass to the newly married couple.